Welcome to the finale of Reality Rangers Season 3. I'm your host, Malik and I'm joined by...
I'm Andrew Hill. We finally made it to the finale, and it was a season.
It was... Insert a picture of the lady. This is me 12 hours after my shift.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a
Yeah.
doozy. This finale, I think it was kind of good to get the gut punch of Suri out last episode,
Mm-hmm.
so that it's kind of like nothing can phase me anymore. This finale, whatever bullshit happened, this finale, nothing can phase me. Yes. Okay. Spoiler alert. First of all, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
spoiler alert, obviously, but it was really sad to see Tiffany go where she went, where she was so close to making it to the end and winning. But I don't know. She did great this season. I'm happy for her. And then Rizzo, we can get into the Rizzo goof of it all. And then the final three being the chop that it is. I was already numb at this point, so I'm not upset.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that just upset me, I expected every part of this outcome, and we had talked about it last week. We
We did.
hoped it would go otherwise, but we expected this exact outcome. The only thing that made me upset, even though I expected it, was just when Tiffany did lose that challenge, Jonathan and his reaction to winning was just so unsportsmanlike, so
Such a
frustrating
poor
when it
sport.
was so close. They were both half a piece away from beating one another. And God, I just him going yes, 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 and
Hitting the floor, jumping around like some sort of seal out of water. It was just uncouth.
overall, I think it was a solid finale. I like as much as I expected it going in, I think most people did. I think they did a decent job of making me care a little bit more by the end. Um, and despite Jeff's, failings as a host, a live host, I guess, it was
I
at least
liked the live
entertaining.
format. There was some fun bits. Like Suri getting her little rock, and Suri getting $100,000,
Mm-hmm.
and Suri getting a standing ovation. Yeah, it was a pretty good
Mm-hmm.
live show. There was a lot of Suri in it. So
And Ozzy getting whatever the opposite of that was.
yeah, you getting a shame shirt
A
is what I
shame
would like to call
shirt.
it, a shame shirt.
Stephanie stood
And
and
Stephanie
watched.
being an inspiration to little girls everywhere. I don't know about all that.
Well,
And
because she's the
a
total
rumored,
package.
because she's a total package. Tiffany getting a rumored third chance at playing. My Wentworth, comparison is coming
Just
to
don't make a
fruition.
Wentworth outcome on that third season.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't do horrible on Edge of Extinction, but
I wouldn't say it
I
was
mean,
the
she was like,
best though.
she got an idol. Yeah, she didn't
She
do.
was
She was
what?
on
She
a
was like
disaster
merge
tribe.
boot, I think.
Around there, I think she made it a little bit into the merge. I forget what happens on that season. The boot order's great, and it gets all muddled with Edge of Extinction. But anyway, Tiff was there. She got a standing ovation as well. And Rizzo got brought out prematurely. If you haven't heard, before he got eliminated in Fire, he got brought out, and Jeff was like, he maybe should have practiced Fire. Go take your seat in the jury, and everybody was like, huh, what?
Hmm?
That didn't play yet. And Jeff legitimately did not know what was happening at first, and it was kind of like I was gagged. I actually I got up from my chair,
Yeah,
ran
yeah.
across the whole house, and I was like, I can't believe that just happened. It was like
I
I witnessed a death live on TV.
I truly thought I had heard it wrong, and I was like, "There's no way I heard that." And then Rizzo was like, I haven't. They haven't shown it yet."
That was a blooper actually.
Mm-hmm. It's just I think people are kind of really overinflating how big of an outcome this was because as much as they were really the edit was playing into Rizzo having a chance, I don't think Rizzo had a chance.
Leading up to this gaff, all we saw was Rizzo really just sucking at fire. Yes, Joe was trying to give him his little Eva moment, but
Mm-hmm.
that's not going to help. If you don't practice fire for the whole time out there, you're not going to miraculously beat somebody who has been doing fire, you know?
Yeah, and they're talking Rizzo's getting it in one strike, and it's Flint's the hardest part, and they 100% told Jonathan to say this for the camera,
Yeah. Yeah. But it was just, I mean, it was lively. I'm kind of happy that it happened because then it gives like people something to talk about. Sad for Rizzo.
Mm-hmm.
Happy that it, cut Jonathan under the legs, and kind of devalued his fire win. But it was interesting to say the least, and the live reading of the votes. It was my first time watching a live reading of the votes. Like, I admittedly am a new fan. I only tuned in the new era. So this is my first time seeing like a live vote read, and I was like, oh, this is thrilling. Like, I knew the outcome, but still I was like, wait, what if there's a chance that like people were dumb and didn't vote for Aubrey to win?
Yeah. Um, I kind of missed it a lot, and I'm upset that like we had 3 hours and we still didn't get any post season like post vote reading like talk or whatever.
Exactly. Where
Like,
were the fights?
how did we get through that much time in like or that much content? It felt like there was so little content for how much we had the time for. I just wish we had like all of these like interactions, these questions. I miss what we saw in like the older seasons, even like up to the 30s. Like they were kind of a little scathing in the
Mm-hmm.
finales. That was always the part that like Jeff didn't really hold back on.
No, and like, not to give credit to Andy Cohen, like, I try not to do that in my everyday life, but like the traders reunions are fun. You get to see
Mhm.
people hash it out, even if it's just them trying to get their extra 5 minutes of fame. And it's fun to watch these dynamics that, maybe were cut short, or maybe there's some unanswered questions get answered. But I guess they, want to keep with the positive attitude they've been curating for Survivor. I get that. Like, it's a family show now, whatever. So I understand them maybe not wanting to give space for conflict, but I would
Yeah.
have liked to seen it.
I mean, I understand why they instead decided to like spread out Jeff talking throughout the episode, but I feel like it makes a lot more sense to just have both. Like you can do but you can have your cake and eat it too in this scenario. Like there's nothing really like preventing it or making the episode worse, especially when people kind of expect the outcome so obviously that like we don't have to dwell on it too hard. We don't have to have a segment of Rizzo like learning to make fire or like you know, we can have small moments like that, but there's still so much time and only two boots to go through. I think
Yeah.
it would have been really fun, especially because the new era seasons, like, they would get through two boots and then still have an hour's worth of after show just in Fiji. So, like, why?
Hmm.
Why is it harder now to do that? I don't know.
I have no clue. But
Especially with us, like we've done in our field at RTA, shout out our home,
our
our
program,
our
yeah.
radio show. Yeah, like we've done a lot of live stuff now, and like it is really hard to pull off. Like it takes a lot of work, but they had been doing it for what 20 years before
They're the experts.
they're
Like,
the
they should know. They should
experts.
have perfected this by now. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, I get, to their defense, they have been doing the longer episodes now.
Mm-hmm.
So that does take a chunk of time out of it. So I get it. I'm not gonna go too hard on them, but
Yeah.
maybe if they could do like a follow up, like next week, like the week after, and maybe like now that it's died down and we have clear heads, and we have time to formulate our thoughts, maybe that would be a perfect time for a reunion.
Right.
But no, I overall with this finale, I am happy with the outcome, like, in a very broad sense of
Mm-hmm.
Aubrey winning. Like, it's a fun end to her story. I think she's not going to play again. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like nice to see her. Okay, the whole thing is she kept almost winning, and now finally it's her time to win. And now we can finally close the textbook, or the book of the Michelle and Aubrey discourse, which was very tiring. And I mean, that's not going to stop some people. People still argue about Sandra and Parvati to this day, but it's like now they've both got their win. Let's move on.
Yeah. I think of like most of the people on this season, going into it, Aubrey felt like one of the people who would have the best stories for a winning game. Like, Obviously Cerie's at the top. We had been talking about this all season where like if she had made it to the end, she would have had such an incredible bookend to her story. But I still think her end was pretty good. There's maybe like Ozzy just because he's also played a ton of times.
Colby,
Colby, Jenna would kind of have a cool thing of like first
yeah,
season,
first
last
season,
winner.
50th season, yeah.
There's a lot going on there. But I think Aubrey is definitely right at the top. And as the season went on, it started to slowly go down for me as her edit just kind of was really poor. But
Yeah.
late in the game, it picked up again, and like I think it reminded us of that story that she still had, as much as it kind of shaded Michelle in a way that I wasn't a big fan of.
Yeah, I mean, do we have to have constant reminders of like Michelle shouldn't have won?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I
I
think
saw a side by side of Jeff's face when he was reading like the deciding vote for when Michelle won and Aubrey won. And it was like for Michelle it was like Michelle. Like shady almost. And then for Aubrey it's like Aubrey. It's like, okay, try to hide your biases a little.
yeah, but yeah, I think a lot of that wasn't necessarily Aubrey's fault because it's
No, no.
the edit is 70% of the Survivor game. I think that's a good estimate of like you like a player because of how they're edited. You don't like them because of how they're edited. They could be a bad person and that changes things, or they played bad, they played well. There's a lot that can change, but it's the material that you're giving to the editor that changes. And that's another thing that like changes how I feel about previous players, cuz like older seasons of Survivor, the older players have explicitly said like time and time again, like there is really no difference between like say how Savannah played versus like how Tyson played. It's just how they're edited. So Tyson is seen
Mm-hmm.
as like a perfect old school villain, whereas Savannah isn't seen as a villain because she's edited in the new era style, not in the old
Yeah.
era style. But if they
Like
played
we're
on the same
made to
season,
feel sympathetic for her and
yeah,
root for her. Yeah.
but if they played on the same season, they would have a very similar like vibe to them. They'd have a similar edit, even if they played differently. But I
No, I think yeah, it's not cut and dry. Like we're in a media program, we know that for certain. Like
mm-hmm.
everything is constructed. You're not seeing what you get 100%. Like there's always going to be a contrast, a disconnect. But I think they do a good enough job telling us what happened. There is an argument to be said. Okay, Aubrey's edit this whole season, except for the last few episodes, is kind of question mark.
Yeah.
And it ends with an exclamation point. I'd like to see a director's cut, maybe, of how she navigated the game,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can put these Jonathan defenders. So, like, I don't necessarily fully shut down when people say Jonathan played a better game because I can see arguments
For
as to
sure.
why
Yeah.
from the edit at least we're given. But I guess it is like in a season like 50, stories matter a lot too.
Yeah. Um, I kind of liked what Christian was getting at of like narrative warfare and like what makes you a more deserving winner based on like how the story of the season would go. I don't like entirely that that's like kind of seemed like how it would dictate his vote, but at the same time, I would have preferred. Like, I'm glad that it seemed like that was kind of more of a this is an Aubrey thing more than a Jonathan. Like you said, I can understand why people would say Jonathan played a better game and why you wanted to vote for him. That's fine. Um, I wouldn't though, and I think there is arguments for both of them playing better, and there's arguments for Jonathan being a misogynist that I don't want to vote for.
Potential abuser, probably MAGA.
Yeah,
Um, Tried to play in Marianne's face. Never gonna allow that.
yeah. The way
Did he
that
play a good game on 50?
sure,
Yes,
yeah, of
ish.
course,
Jury management not included? Yes.
yeah. But you know, I just I'll never be able to look past the ways that like Marianne, Lindsay, Tiffany have all talked about him being like a raging misogynist, like the way he's
Mm-hmm.
kind of a bit of a creep. Like I if he made like he makes good moves and like understands for the most part this season, like it seemed like he was changing, and that's good for him. And you've said, yeah, I think you said last episode, like, we do not take biases into account when we're giving like letter grades or whatever. Um,
Exactly. Separate the art from the artist. Separate
exactly.
the play from the player.
So like I can appreciate that Jonathan improved his game substantially and like was able to navigate more strategically. He's still just like personality and like social game is still right at the top of
And
most
this is
important aspects.
exemplified by how he's acting postseason. We're recording this on the Saturday after the finale. He is on a campaign of all on his exit press saying, "I think I deserve to win. I think it was a bitter jury." That entitlement of "Oh, I deserve to have won this game"
Mm-hmm.
just goes to show the kind of person he is. He can't stand losing. There are people like Charlie where it's like, "Yeah, I do think I might have played a better game. I can understand why people okay." Jonathan's like, well, Sari did this, and then Tiff did that, and Aubrey didn't deserve this, and X, Y, Z. Like, just accept that you lost. Like, come on. Like, I know it's hard, especially now that it's in the new era. He was used to maybe like having time to digest it. Live is like, I just lost. But did he really think he was gonna win this leading up to the live finale? Did he
Yeah.
just now find out that he wasn't winning the majority of the jury's votes? I, if he really was that delusional, that's another thing.
Do
Yeah.
you think with all the insider trading on like Kalshi and whatnot, and that being a big thing, do you think Jonathan had kind of like ignored it, or do you think he like saw it and thought, well, I get like, as it went on, maybe Aubrey does end up winning. I don't like.
If I was a survivor, me personally, I don't know about Jonathan, I would definitely try to avoid that because it would just
Yeah.
like put like a dampener on my experience.
That was hard to
Um,
ignore, though, and I'm sure even harder as a player unless you just go fully offline for a bit, which does seem kind of Jonathan's
some
style.
people probably
But
do that.
I
I
think
mean,
Jonathan
yeah.
definitely did. So maybe not, but I wonder if Aubrey saw it.
She was placing some of the bets. No,
Right,
I'm not
right.
gonna accuse her of that, but
We
I
want to
would low
instead of two
key
million, I'm
like
getting 2.5 for my Kalshi bets.
exactly, and then you get back the 600,000 that Obama takes,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's kind of good. It's
Mm-hmm.
smart financial decisions. No,
And that's why
okay,
Marianne and
let's talk
Erica,
about.
they're top two
Oh,
winners, because they
yeah,
don't have to
that's why
worry
because
about
they
the
get the most
Obama money.
money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the exchange rate. But yeah,
Yeah.
let's go back to how we got here. Let's
Yeah, we've been
start the
talking for like
finale
20
off.
minutes. Let's go through
It's
play
just
by
because it was
play.
such it's something worth talking about. Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
very
Kalshi's
this
very important.
Kelsey's very important. No, it was just a finale that was very
Yeah.
opinion invoking. I don't know, but how we got there? Yeah, so we just lost Sari, and Tiffany's mad. Tiffany is like, I don't know how y'all did this to me. Aubrey's like, well, you wrote my name down too, but I'm willing to open the door. And Tiffany's not having it. Tiffany's like, oh, Aubrey is fake sympathizing, and this is kind of true. This is something Aubrey does. Because I mean, that's a social game. Is like
Mm-hmm.
trying to extend the olive branch. I get it, but Tiffany sees right through it.
Yeah. I think this is like one of my favorite moments of Tiffany all season, where we really see her personality shine, and I like it just really makes me feel like I'm just sad we didn't get to see much of Tiffany early season, cuz like I want to know her thoughts on like earlier, boots. I want to know how she, even though she didn't go to tribal, which I think is kind of indicative of why she didn't get much of a edit early season, but like I want to know how she reacted to like Charlie getting voted out, or like I want to know how she reacted during the blood moon, but we didn't really see any of her until like coaching Chrissy's episode.
Hmm. Hmm. It's I'm sad. I'm grieving. I'm like people always ask for the Erica cut of 41. I'm asking for the Tiffany cut of 50. Like,
The Tiff and
where are
Aubrey
all her
cut.
confessionals? The Tiffany and Aubrey
Give
cut.
us the
Which yeah,
Democratic
that's another
cut, not the
thing.
Republican cut.
Exactly. What happened to their relationship? Why did it dissolve at the
Mm-hmm.
merge? We're never gonna find
That's
out.
so
But
true. Where did it go? That was such like that was basically the only thing Aubrey and Tiffany had early season, was that they
was
were
that we're sticking
aligned.
together? We're gonna beat Genevieve. And
Yeah.
now Aubrey is stealing the mac and cheese from Tiff at the auction. Like, what is this? Like, where? How did we get here?
It feels like two people who were friends like as kids and then grew apart and then saw each other like at a like like high school reunion or something and just didn't know how to interact.
Yeah, like they were proximity friends and then they like
Mm-hmm.
lacked proximity and they weren't friends anymore. So yeah, it was a little odd, but yeah, we have a lot of people saying, "Oh, we beat Suri, we outdid Suri." Rizzo notably saying, "We out Suri." Not too much. You better watch yourself. Nobody
Yeah.
can out Suri. She knew she was going home, kind of. Like, yeah,
We can't be talking like that. Like you are not on her
sacrilege.
level. Yeah, you are like down here and Cerise all the way. Like you are not on the same level, Rizzo. You could be, but like
You
cool
can
your
get
jets. Cool your
there.
jets.
Cool your jets. You're going a little too fast. And Jonathan's happy about this move. Joe is I mean, do we really get in-depth thoughts from Joe ever? No, unless it pertains to Devon's
But Joe
or
finally
honesty.
smiled. It's crazy. It's been like 8 episodes since we saw him emote anything other than disdain.
I mean, yeah, because Devon's is gone, so he's like, oh, I can finally chill.
Right.
I can just get brought to the end. I'm probably gonna get brought to the end. Yeah. The next day it's just like getting ready for the immunity challenge, and word on the street is same thing as last round. Everyone has to beat Tiffany. Like it's all in. We got to beat Tiffany, and this immunity challenge is it's like your classic new era. You got to jump through this, hop over that, crawl through this, hit that,
You
throw
have
at
to
this,
untie a
unlock this,
sandbag and then use that sandbag to throw at a sandbag. And
and collect more sandbags. The only thing this one was missing was like a lock with different numbers on it.
yeah, I will say this one was like the pretty unique in terms of like obstacle courses because I liked all of the different like they were all fun like special different sections. Like we had
Yeah,
the crawling through the mud where you have to like unspin the tunnel. They had to like
the one that like
ram
Carolyn
themselves.
really sucked at.
Yeah, yeah. Or like after that they had to ram their bodies into like a pole that to hit the bags off. I thought that like it was such a physically funny looking challenge.
Like
Um
do a pulley to pull up a
yeah,
machete.
it was like 1950s like squash and stretch cartoons style. Like we were
Very
just
slapstick.
yeah, it was such a funny looking challenge, but it wasn't a funny outcome.
No, yeah, we get to the puzzle in the end, and Tiffany gets there after I think like Jonathan and Joe are in a little bit of a lead,
Mhm.
but Tiffany gets there. She starts to catch up. Rizzo and Aubrey are lagging behind. Aubrey's decent at puzzles, so I was like, okay, there's possibility that Aubrey could come back. But no, it's really a three-horse race
Yeah.
between Joe, Jonathan, and Tiff. Joe was surprising me. I forgot. I didn't know he was that good at puzzles. He's decent at puzzles.
I think
He's
he's
no like Rachel, but
I think he's just good at the puzzles that you don't have to like think too hard. Like jigsaw puzzles are very brute force where it's just like find the right
yeah.
piece, stick it in. It's not like a slide puzzle where
He's
you
like
have
a
to like
slide
know the
puzzle. Yeah.
algorithm. Um
He's no Hibiki.
right. Uh but if it was Hubicki, I mean, what was the puzzle he did for Jimmy Fallon? It was like the I don't know. I actually was that a jigsaw? I think
Oh,
it
it
was.
was just a local puzzle.
Yeah, if Joe was
And he
there
didn't
though.
do it. He would have
Um
won the Rachel Lamont ball.
mhm.
That
If
was
only it
fun. But
was what was
no.
that Tower of Hanoi that she played or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Similar to
Um
that.
but yeah,
But yeah,
I
Jonathan and Joe were just trying to beat Tiffany because they failed last round. But Tiffany was giving them a run for their money. Slowly, Joe kind of was like falling behind. Jonathan threw up. Okay. Just begging for attention.
if only he
And
threw up a
then
little bit
it's really
longer.
just between, yeah, it was really just between Jonathan and Tiffany.
Yeah. It became like a two-horse race where Joe and Jonathan had both like their puzzles that they had been working on. Um they were kind of just building the ring around it. And so it really left no stability for the rest of the puzzle. And Tiffany, unlike them, made like the correct moves where she kind of built it like all the way through and up. So she would have a lot more stability. You see, Joe, I think, fell behind because some of his puzzle pieces were falling.
They
Um,
almost completely fell off. And
yeah,
I thought the same thing was going to happen to Jonathan.
yeah, and like Tiffany's was working a lot better because it had that stability, so it was a lot easier to push the puzzle pieces in. She was able to go a lot quicker. Um, and at the final like few pieces like they had enough stability on either side, so it really was just who can fit that last piece in better. Where I think that was a lot more like because they had the same amount of stability. You really have to slam that last one in. And Jonathan, I think even though they were both like doing it at the same time, Jonathan was just able to brute force it more enough to
And also he probably
squinch
has
out
like a
the
bigger
win.
wingspan,
Yeah.
can reach. Yeah. So Jonathan, wait, Jonathan wins. He wins, and he, like we said, is a horrible sport about it. He jumps, flails around, starts, yeah, hugs Joe, fist bumps
Mm-hmm.
Rizzo, and it's just 15 9/11s, like Joe Biden said. This
Yeah.
is like horrible. I don't know. We might have to cut that part out, but it was just really sad to see that, and yeah, it's like a foregone conclusion. Tiff is going home.
Yeah. This was seemingly the most obvious boot, and they didn't even try and like hide it. There was literally no one who was giving her a chance, and the best that we had was her and Rizzo talking on the beach later, where Rizzo essentially told her, "There's no world where I'm going to vote to keep you." Um, and it's just really unfortunate. And I honestly, I don't know this for certain. I think this is probably not true, but I could see a world where if they were able to use their bebbies on other people, I could see Rizzo wanting to make a move.
A big move to get out, like Aubrey or
Or
something.
Aubrey, Jonathan, whoever, but like I
Well,
think that
Jonathan
also
won immunity there.
that's fair. So it probably would be Aubrey.
It would be
But I
Aubrey,
think
and
I could
then
see that as in like him guaranteeing a spot to get into the final three and probably could beat Tiffany, I think. I think it, imagine it's like Tiffany, Jonathan, Rizzo final three. I think that's a very split vote between all three of
that's like
them.
that. But then why would he want that? Why would he want one more person that could,
Because that's
beat him in a
probably his
jury
only
vote?
chance of someone taking him to the end.
Do you think?
I
But
think Tiffany
Tiffany's been
would.
like, I guess once he gets rid of his idol, there's no reason for Tiffany to be going against Rizzo. So
Yeah.
that's a possibility,
And
yeah.
I
But
think Tiffany is very much social based in a lot of her strategy, which is good for her. Like it works for her. And I think in Rizzo's case, he could use that to an advantage of like, I help you. If you win final immunity, we work together to get to the end. And I think that's a challenge Tiffany could have won.
yeah, I wonder who wins Samotion there because Aubrey won Samotion.
Yeah, who was the? It was Tiffany, or sorry, it was Aubrey and Joe, right?
Aubrey and Joe were the final. I just find it funny. I mean, we'll get to that, but like,
Mm-hmm.
it was a bunch of Samotion losers losing Samotion again. It was.
Yeah.
I don't know if Aubrey ever played Samotion before, but she got, like she said, the Etsy version. She got the
Yeah.
Temu version of her Samotion. But I think that's something Tiffany could do
I
well on.
think
I think
so.
that's she's got that kind of good concentration, so
I
she could
think that
win, bring Rizzo, and then she
if
was mad at Joe and Jonathan. Now's her chance to take one of them out.
if that was a world that existed of like those three in the final three, I I don't know. I
But then it
think
would be Joe. I think it'd be Joe, Rizzo, and Tiffany because Joe would
yeah.
totally beat
But Joe
Jonathan.
would still get the votes that Jonathan did. He would just replace Jonathan,
Would
I think.
he?
Would he
I
not get the
think
votes of
the thing about
Coach and Chrissy and Stephanie? Maybe
listen,
not
listen
Stephanie.
though, because people were so scared of Tiffany because her social game was that good. Like people always bring up the fact nobody wanted to write her name down at
Mm-hmm.
that split vote with D. I think she could get some of the Stephanies and like Chrissy's maybe and coaches because she did have relationships with those people early on.
I think I don't I think Coach guaranteed votes Joe. That one I think
Right. Okay. The
stays.
Stone Bell Monk. Yeah.
Yeah, Chrissy, I could see her voting Tiff because like there was that whole thing where like after the who was it? I think it was Camilla. She was like, we can't give Tiffany too much like heat. Like she was very graceful in the way that Camilla went home, and it's like I could
Yeah.
see that carrying over to finale. Stephanie, I don't know because
There's no more total package left, right? So
right, but I mean maybe she would just say Joe's the total package.
yeah,
I
just
don't know.
whoever's cut from the same cloth enough,
Right.
just. But
But that
no,
world
I
is not
think
real, unfortunately.
Rizzo does like Tiffany takes some of Rizzo's votes away, so I don't know if he would do that. Like, I think Rizzo might get like a Rick, a Christian, maybe an Emily and an Aubrey, but I think he doesn't get Sari anymore.
Yeah, I
I almost
that's a
think
toss
Tiffany
up.
gets Sari and Ozzy. Tiffany definitely gets Ozzy.
Yeah, Tiffany gets Aussie Wait, okay, let's.
D.
if we go through each of them, D votes Tiffany. Let's say Chrissy votes Tiff. Coach votes Joe. I think Christian would vote Rizzo. I think. Um,
Maybe
I
because
think.
he would admire the dominance he had over more
Mm-hmm.
course of the votes. He voted more correctly than Tiff.
Yeah, and let's say let's give Tiff, as much advantage as possible. Let's say Stephanie votes Tiff. That's 3 to 1 to 1. Emily, I think, votes Rizzo because they seem to have a pretty good relationship.
They might have had a working relationship. Yeah.
Um, and
Ozzy
then
goes Tiff
yeah, Ozzy would go Tiff, so it'd be four two
because he's
one.
bitter.
Rick would uh Rizzo? No.
Maybe
I
Rizzo.
think it would be Tiff. I don't that's
I
such
think
a
it would come
weird.
very close. And then in a tie, in the event of a tie,
Yeah.
because how many? There was 11 jurors, and probably one
Yes.
of them would vote Joe. Let's say it's 5-5. Who's Joe voting for? I think he's voting for. That's
Tiff.
hard.
I
He's
think
probably
he'd
voting
vote
for Rizzo
Tiff.
because he
Oh.
had that
Oh,
alliance.
right. I forgot. Well, but if Joe goes there, he would have had to betray the alliance. And that would kind of hurt Joe because Joe's a
If
personal
Jonathan goes there,
player.
yeah, because then that means Rizzo played the idol for Tiffany
So
to get
I
Aubrey.
think he would get Tiff's vote because they did seem to have a relatively good relationship as well.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a fun concept, but
That didn't happen though, so we got to move
that didn't
forward.
happen. Tiff went home. It was not much of a debate. It was a tribal council that was very enraging.
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany got everything off her chest, and
Yeah.
I'm so happy for her that she did.
And
And we move on.
well, I just want to mention the one last thing that wasn't shown on screen.
Oh,
That in this moment, when Tiffany was asking why not Joe, why wouldn't Joe get
yeah.
like Joe had the same amount of immunity as me, and Jonathan basically said, "You're a girl. That's the difference."
Yeah, he was trying to say something like, "Oh, the record." Like, I understand it's weird, but like, I understand where he's coming from. I guess because he's like, "Oh, the female record for immunities is 3 or is 4. So if you give you another chance to win an immunity, that you'd have something to stand on in your final." But it's still like that's a bullshit reason. Like, that's not the
Yeah,
real reason.
it's a very stupid reason, and realistically, it's a stupid thing that we're like separating the two categories. It should just be like everyone together as most immunities, because at
Like,
this
who has
point,
the most immunities this season?
yeah, at this point, well, it should be per season. That makes the most sense. But like, it should be just based on like your person, not your gender. Because I
Like,
mean,
nobody cares that
challenges,
Brad Culpepper got 5 on Game Changers. Like,
yeah,
who got the most this season?
and challenges are like almost entirely equitable now. So what is the difference between men and women? Like they have
That's true.
equitable challenge like separation. They make everything work well enough, and maybe like it just depends on the person how well you are as a person at this challenge. I don't know.
Yeah. So Jonathan, another tick to the misogyny card.
Hmm.
I almost said racism, but I don't doubt that either. Like,
Well, there was the whole thing at the split vote in 42.
yeah, in 42. So yeah. But we move on. We move on to the final four.
Hmm.
It's Du Bois. Rizzo was pissing me off because I mean, I know he was doing this on purpose and it was good strategy. He was broing out. He was like season 45, Bruce, Drew, Austin, Jake, whatever, bro
Guys' night,
montaging
yeah.
guys' night with Joe and Jonathan. He was like, bros, we got this, bros. We're going to defeat Aubrey, bros. And then Samotion rolls around and the bros flop. And Aubrey wins because she bought
Hmm.
Timu Samotion. And I just find it funny because, like I said earlier, it was a bunch of Samotion losers. Like, I don't know if Rizzo played, but Joe lost it on Final Four. Jonathan lost it on Final Four to Romeo.
That's
Okay.
crazy.
Romeo. So it was funny to see Aubrey win and kind of put an end to their plans. Like seeing them literally as Aubrey's accepting the necklace, you see them in the background uh just like
Yeah.
really dejected and defeated.
And it's like I could like my prediction was if it was Samotion, I thought Joe this seemed like a challenge that Joe would win. Um but I think Aubrey really like locked in because people love Samotion. I think it made sense that it was the most voted final challenge. So like made
Yeah.
sense for her to practice that one out of the three. I mean also the easiest to practice, but um yeah, I'm looking at the final immunity that Rizzo played last season.
It was the
Um
one that Sophie won with getting the ball out of the cage, and she was like
yeah,
really behind, and
it's
then
called Paddle Out. It's the one that Joe and Tiffany won this season.
yeah, like putting the balls like
Mhm. Um
yeah.
for some reason in 49 though it wasn't called Paddle Out, it was called Debbie Spoon, and I don't know why.
It's because they take the same elements and like
but
transform them and mix them up with other elements.
but what does Debbie Spoon mean?
Maybe it's like Debbie, like little Debbie's, like the
I
Debbie,
was
like
thinking
the
Game Changers co-wrong Debbie, you know.
oh, because she actually did have that one challenge where she had to balance something on her balance beam because she has great balance and then didn't balance because she has horrible balance actually. Um,
Probably. I don't.
yeah,
She's the most
Debbie.
forgettable like big character. Like she is such a huge character that I cannot tell you anything about.
You can't tell her anything about her 7 jobs.
I don't think I could name any job that she listed.
She has a PhD in water,
Oh,
obviously, so she
well,
knows
of
about
course,
water.
of course, right.
And she's a chemical engineer, and
Mm-hmm.
she's actually an airline pilot, and she's done some modeling, and
Mm-hmm.
she's been a caretaker and a waitress, and yeah, she's
Right,
knows
right, right, right.
about water. Duh, I've done a
Water.
PhD in
Yeah.
water.
I. Okay, well, either way, Aubrey did end up winning this challenge, and uh, like I said, I thought Joe was gonna win, and I thought it was gonna be like a fun, like Aubrey has to like convince the others how she can work her way out. Because I thought it would be cool that she would like
Did you think
convince
it's gonna be
Joe.
a Final Four vote or a Final Four firemaking?
I thought it was going to be fire because people suck.
I like the rigged question,
Yeah,
the
it's
the the Facebook people, it was gonna be fine. Like I guess I kind of deluded myself into thinking we would have a normal vote, but
there were just
alas,
even like right from the start when it said like let the big players take their hands into their own or their destiny into their own hands, and it's like everyone on like Twitter or whatever was like, this is such a like biased way of prompting the questions. Like we were going to get fired just because they really
yeah,
rigged
we
it.
were doomed. But I mean, it kind of worked out in our favor here.
Yeah, I think
Well,
Aubrey
yeah,
still
I
could
mean, it
have
was gonna
won.
given the immunity result, it Aubrey winning, it was gonna be the same regardless. If Aubrey didn't
Hmm.
win, then they would have just voted Aubrey out. But
Who do you
whether
I think the most
like
interesting outcome is if Aubrey wins immunity and it's a vote, though. Like, they
then
probably
they
vote
vote out
Rizzo.
Rizzo. I think they vote out Rizzo unless Rizzo convinces Aubrey. But Aubrey knows. Aubrey was saying like, I need to get Rizzo out. He has the most similar game to mine. I think all three of them vote out Rizzo.
I just think, like, they would vote out Rizzo, yes. But I think we would have had the most interesting, like, episode to watch.
Like
Because with,
Rizzo really trying his best to like
right.
convince
Because the interesting
Joe
part
to
of the
flip.
episode from there was just how well are they going to be at fire making, and then Jeff accidentally spoiled it. But I think if it's a vote, we at least get some. They'll at least create some tension of like, can Rizzo convince someone to tie the vote or something like
And
that.
then there can be fire making, and there you get your
Exactly.
fire making. Make it
I
an option though.
I think it could have happened, but at the unfortunately,
I think he would have had an easier time convincing Joe to flip than Aubrey.
yeah. Um,
Because Aubrey's less malleable, and Joe could have been like, I think he had a close relationship with Joe, closer than I think was shown.
I
Because
think
like he a lot of
Joe.
times was like, I don't want to do this vote if Joe's not in on it.
I could have seen Joe as like a kind of a similar situation with Rizzo. Or what am I saying? Um, I could see Joe where like you said, they had kind of a working relationship, and in that final like fire making, it did seem like they had kind of like a dad son kind of relationship, similar to
Yeah,
Rizzo and Colby. Um, but we
But
didn't get
would
really to
Joe have
see
been
it.
willing to do away with Jonathan? Because you could
I
have made a
think
good argument to him saying you're gonna get the same votes and and Jonathan's gonna get those votes.
mhm.
Like Jonathan is gonna get your alliance's votes over you, so get rid of him.
I think Rizzo's the kind of person that could possibly convince Joe. Like, but I don't
Hmm.
know. Either way, we get a little montage of Jonathan and Rizzo both practicing fire. Rizzo can't get it, so Joe helps him create, like, figure out the angles of the flint. And right as we're about to go to commercial break before the fire making, um, Jeff brings Rizzo out on stage. They have a little
And the rest
chat.
is history.
Yeah, the rest is herstory.
Herstory, Rizstory,
Riz Queen.
um, Riz Queen. I just this gaff. I mean, we talked about it already, but it was just really.
What just happened?
They didn't show the fire.
Fire hasn't happened yet.
Huh?
The fire hasn't happened yet.
I'm not even sure what's happened.
Like I did not watch. I don't think I recall watching the fire making after it. I just like went to go get like a snack
Yeah.
while it was playing. I was like, "What's the point of watching?"
No, I was zoned out. I was probably like playing like one of those stupid puzzle apps on my phone.
Lock blast.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
looking at the time. This was like I literally tweeted. I was like, "That
Screw
would have been a
through
good pee
the
break."
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
But, I think it was a little funny how Jeff recovered. He was like making a joke about the final twist being the seeing into the future advantage.
yeah, at least
He
he
was
had
making
fun
fun
with
of
it
it.
and could
Yeah.
joke about it.
I think
I was happy that Jeff could do that because I did feel bad for him as well because it clearly didn't look like it was all his fault
no,
because like he
it
didn't have the
was
power to bring Rizzo up on stage. He was doing what the teleprompter was telling him.
right. It was very clearly that Jeff because he was on stage the whole time wasn't able to watch the episode, so
Hmm.
he wasn't able to understand what was happening. He was just following like the play by play of their. Yeah, I assume they did a reunion or like a rehearsal,
Rehearsal.
but the
But
rehearsal
where's
doesn't
our
take into
safety
account like
monitor?
rehearsal. Yeah, there should be a safety monitor, but I assume the rehearsal was just like it didn't take into account any commercials, so he just assumed like it would go straight into that. When
Oh,
it first
okay,
happened,
okay.
though, I thought it was going to be like he brings out the first person
To talk.
and then commercial, and then he brings out the second person, and then we see it. But then he said like, "Okay, go sit on the bench. You're the final juror," and everyone's like,
Like I was gagging. Like it took like a collective like 2 seconds to realize what just happened, and then I
Mhm.
ran up off my couch. Everyone in the audience realized. Sari and Tiffany and Dee, I
Mhm.
think, were the first people to be like, "That you weren't supposed to do that." Like,
Yeah, they were like Jeff is confused and Rizzo's like they didn't show it yet, and Jeff is still like, what is going
huh?
on? Huh?
Huh? So yeah, let's fast forward past this fire
Yeah.
making because I don't want to talk about Jonathan winning another thing. That's too
Mhm.
much Jonathan positive content. And then we get the final three. It's
Yes.
Jonathan, Joe, and Aubrey. And they get their breakfast. Breakfast with a side of family.
What? Huh?
What? We're bringing back family visits at the final three?
Like it would have been
Okay.
it would have been awesome if they had done it like 5 episodes ago, but my
Yeah,
guess
I
is
think
they I think assumed that Winners at War was too big of a high for them to reach, so they wanted to do something unique to kind of like counteract that, cuz bringing your whole family is different from like, just bring one person. They kind of had to do something special, like you do it with the final breakfast before
yeah, it's
final
like you
tribal.
earned it. It's like a prize of making the final three. I get
Mhm.
that. So, but it was just kind of like
It
not.
was
There wasn't
weird.
much. There wasn't much content there. It was just like, oh yeah, happy eating like a pastry, okay,
Mhm.
and then just getting ready. It was all a blur after the gaff. Like I was kind of just like, well, what? And then final tribal
Yeah.
council rolled around, and then I started to lock in.
Yeah, even through like they always do like the jurors
What
talking
the
about
jury
each.
thinks. Yeah.
I wasn't even paying attention to that. The only thing that I remembered hearing was Emily saying that Joe had a like
Joe actually played a good game if you
yeah,
think about it.
like I
Okay.
mean, no, but you are kind of right in the fact that like they did have to run everything by Joe, and that is kind of like a plus on his. He just never did anything with that.
Emily is just like the devil's advocate. Like
Mhm.
she loves to, as we always say, push back on things. Like you
Right.
think Joe's a bad player, okay, now she's gonna defend him. Now she's gonna be like, well, let me just be let me be Joe's advocate for a second.
She sees a lot of
He
Bruce
did have a
in
lot of sway.
Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan is the actual devil. He's devil
Mhm.
incarnate. But
Right, right, right.
Final Tribal Council. What do we think about it? In one sentence, what was the sentence that would sum up Final Tribal Council to you?
Um, there's a question here, and I'm going to get to it.
I would say let's stick to the old format.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to the old format because what was this? This was so messy, Lola Young. I'm too messy, then I'm too fucking clean. Because
Mm-hmm.
what was this? Like,
It was
some
like
people didn't
really
get to ask
confusing.
questions. Some people got like 3 times to speak. It was just kind of crazy.
I think it's a cool idea to have a more open discussion, but people should still be able to get their individual moments without anyone interfering or interjecting.
Mhm.
And I think especially the final three should be allowed to have their moments for each question, unless it's an individual, like you are targeting a specific person, like Christina last season asking Savannah, like, name a person, like a loved one from each of us. That's like a
Yeah.
gag. That's something that you want to hear.
That was like one of the most fun jury questions in
Mm-hmm.
a while.
But I
Um,
think like in this scenario though, they really didn't get let the they had 3 hours and no after show, and somehow they were like running out of time. So I kind of felt like I don't know. The like I had joked about with my one sentence. It was frustrating how like they kept kind of there were people who were asking Aubrey with legitimate questions, and then there was people who were glazing Jonathan, and Stephanie was one of them where she's like just glazing and glazing, and Tiffany's like, are you gonna get to your point, are you gonna ask a question? He's like, and she's like, yeah, I'm getting to my question, and then doesn't ask a question.
it was just really like as annoying as Stephanie's game was. Like it was on
Mm-hmm.
par with that. It was just like I get you're trying to make a case for your buddy to win, but if you have to do that, you should know he's not winning. Like
Right.
if you have to glaze and defend and like plead for other people to see what he did, and Jonathan was not doing her any favors either. She like he was the whole exchange with Ozzy, where Ozzy said, "Yeah, Aubrey, she may have got me out, but I commend her. She played the middle amazing." Ozzy's a good juror. He's like
Mm-hmm.
he gives it like he gets bitter when he goes out, and then he goes to Ponderosa. Maybe he smokes some weed. I don't know what he does. He gets into his element, and then once he's on the jury, he's fine. And he's like, "Hey,"
Mm-hmm.
except for when he was heartbroken over Amanda, but he's like, "Hey, Aubrey did what she had to do. She played the middle perfectly." And Jonathan's like, "What? I don't even know what word you just used. What does exemplary mean, huh? What's the middle, huh?" And I'm like, yeah, how did you get to this point? Like, all the respect I did, like, the iota of respect I had for you just went out the window. Like, what are you
Mm-hmm.
doing?
It was kind of abysmal, but I think he guaranteed had 3 votes under his belt. And I will say Aubrey had a pretty, not, I wouldn't say perfect, but pretty damn close to perfect final tribal performance, where I don't think she had any missteps in anything she said. Not that I can think of, at least. Like, it was maybe a little safe in how she was talking about it, but like, a lot of people were kind of like helping, or like a lot of the jurors, without like glazing her or anything, would bring up stuff that she did, like the Aussie boot. Like they had that whole conversation of like who Aussie credits as the, or sorry, not who Aussie credits, who, would it be Rizzo? Was it? They were just talking about
Like, who
who.
takes credit for the boot? Was it
Right.
Rizzo or was it
No,
was
no.
it
Was it
Jonathan? Was
Jonathan
it
or
Joe? Like,
Aubrey?
and
Oh
even
yeah.
Joe was like, "Well, it couldn't happen without me." But no, I think Aubrey, she didn't do horribly because there wasn't like any big moves that she omitted, but there also wasn't any like really bad things that she brought to light. Like there wasn't
No.
anything to like sink her game that she either forgot to bring up or brought up. It was just like she said what
It
she
was
did.
very safe, but it was
She said
perfectly necessary to win the game. Where,
she just stated the facts of her game and was like, "Hey, I think I played a decent game. If
yeah.
you can vote for me to win, thank you."
So yeah, we get through the final tribal. It's pretty cut and dry. Final vote is read, and Aubrey is the winner of Survivor 50, 8-3-0. Where Jonathan's 3 votes were from, who guessed it, Coach Chrissy and Stephanie.
The Cloth Alliance.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And Joe gets no votes. He is right behind Sugar as the first person or the second person to get no votes period in a season to vote like against or to win. And that's honestly impressive.
Yeah.
I applaud him.
I will also say this season added 3 new people who are multi-season players that have never been voted out in Rizzo, Joe, and Jonathan.
And Kyle.
And Kyle. That's 4 people. That's crazy. Were there any others that like you could count? Like, I don't think so. I think that's a lot of people though, because there was only like 3 people before. It was Jenna Maraska, Michelle Fitzgerald, and someone else. I think it was another winner early on.
Like multi-time player who's
never been voted out. I can search it up.
If you get it, don't tell me. If you get it, don't tell me.
Okay,
'Cause I'm gonna figure it out. You have it?
No, I don't have it. I'll search it up though.
Wasn't it only 3?
We only mentioned 2.
I thought, and Kyle was the third. I thought Kyle was the third.
Maybe. Survivor players who have never been.
Colton. But I don't count that.
He doesn't count to any statistics because of principle.
He's just like a move. Like he doesn't count. But yeah, Colton. Is there anyone else who's been out like that twice? Like you'd almost think James. Like you forget about like he has been voted out, but I just keep thinking that he gets medevac, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Poopin. Oh.
Wait. I guess yeah. If you're counting
it's always the worst people.
Okay.
What are we doing?
So it's Jenna Maraska, Colton, Scoopin, Michelle, and now Kyle, Rizzo, Joe, and Jonathan. So it's 50-50 of awful people and great people.
And awesome people. You got Michelle, Kyle, Jenna, Joe, Rizzo, and then
Jonathan,
he
Colton.
who shall not be named times 3. Like literally, like 3 of the worst.
Yeah.
Like only Dan Spilo. Well, if Dan comes back somehow and either gets not that should ever happen, but if he gets medevac
for the Democrats versus Republicans season.
Exactly, for the atrocious people versus good people season.
Same thing.
Saints versus sinners. If he gets to the final 3, if he gets medevac, if he gets whatever, he will have completed that statistic because he got ejected. So yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of people who could. Hannah Rose could come back. Wait, no. Did she get voted out technically? No.
She let them get voted. Yeah, she
didn't.
She quit.
They didn't do the vote. They did the vote for Sean, but she just
quit. Yeah.
Okay.
Bruce. I wish Bruce did. Bruce getting to the final 3 would have been amazing. Uncle Bruce.
But his boot episode was very funny to watch.
Yeah, going out. I forget he went out with an idol in his pocket. Oh.
That's a new era staple.
It's a new era staple. He set the fashion trend for 46. Okay, so this finale, you know what? I think there's been a lot of negativity. I think we should have some positivity. I think we should award people with something. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is a ceremony. This is a live show, so we might as well have some awards to give out for our favorite players, maybe not so favorite, but still were the biggest characters. There's a lot here, but how about we start off with biggest hero?
Biggest hero. I don't know. Who did we put for that? I would probably put Rick Devens.
Yeah, I think our biggest hero award is going to have to go to Rick Devens. It was a very heroic season for him. He was, I think, even though Honor and Integrity Alliance believed they were the heroes through and through, they were playing honorable games. I really feel like Colby was the only one who really truly played a hero game. And Rick was really one like who fought for him like on his own. Against this like group of villains. He was kind of
and his whole thing was like about joy. So, you gotta love that.
Yeah, exactly. He was always like spouting like positivity even in his darkest scariest eliminations. And yeah, it
Yeah,
really felt like
he had just seen Superman. Was this film before or after Superman came out?
before. But like,
Really?
yeah, because this was filmed
Okay.
in June, right? So
And that came out summer 2025, so it would
yeah,
have
it
been a
was
little bit
July.
after. He walked off of Fiji and he went straight into the theater and watched Superman. He was there
Right.
for the Summer of Hope 2025.
Charlie came back and found out that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were engaged, and Rick found out that Superman and what Lex Luthor were
Lex
engaged. I don't know.
Luthor. And yeah, and he was really happy about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
What
when
was our
there,
next award
yeah,
category?
when there's a hero, there's a villain. You know, as we just mentioned, we might as well go through some nominees. We have Jonathan, I think is a big one. We've got
Yeah.
Coach is like a very much a cartoony, like mustache twirling villain. He
Yeah.
doesn't see himself as the villain, you know.
I'd put Chrissy on there. She's
Yeah.
like a Disney villain in those Disney movies that like third act plot twist. She's the Mayor
Mhm.
Bellwether from Zootopia.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
when she
yeah.
had that confessional about like that's what I would say if I actually thought I was going home, and then
Yeah.
betrays Camilla. Yeah.
And I think like, would we say? I think Rizzo was playing relatively villainous, but maybe like an
He's
anti-villain.
Morley Gray.
Yeah, he was like playing. He was chaotic neutral, I think.
And
But
then the original Black Widow, Jerry
Mhm.
Manthe, Jerry Maneater. Oh, she didn't make the 50 cast. Oh, oh, oh! I just thought because Colby was there. Yeah, that one still hurts. That one still hurts. Okay. Well. Okay. Out of those nominees. Oh,
sorry, I'm back.
out of those. Oh, you're back. Out of those nominees, who do you think was the biggest villain?
Yeah, I think we have to give our biggest villain award to Mr. Jonathan Young.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty clear to us. I think another one that we kind of skip past a little bit is a little bit of Aubrey, but she was more like a like maybe anti-hero, anti-villain kind of situation.
Yeah. Yeah. She
Um,
was the lesser of two evils.
mhm.
Like it's like the heroes versus villains final three. It was all villains, but who do
Yeah.
you despise the least?
Jonathan was a textbook villain this season, though, and I think Joe. If there was like a heroes versus villains 2, he's gonna be put on heroes because Jeff is out of touch. But like, Jonathan is so villainous here, and it's very clear to me. How about best alliance? What do you think?
I mean, it has to go to the Wizard of Oz. Like the other options are kind of like not on the same level. Like the middle was okay, but they had a big target. The Honesty and Integrity fumbled at every chance they got. There wasn't really any other alliances. There was not like big voting blocks. It was really just those three.
Yeah, like you said, I think the Nerds Alliance was very much like, it didn't feel more like an alliance, more of like they were kind of playing out of necessity a lot of the time together, and
Yeah.
the Honor and Integrity were really carried by Jonathan in terms of like any sort of strategy. They kind of fumbled at every point where Jonathan wasn't really taking the helm. And so Jonathan always had had a confessional every other episode that was like, I gotta bounce back from this, you know. But Sir Wizard of Oz, up until their elimination, was like the perfect alliance. They were very close. They were very secretive. No one knew about them, and
Moving in silence like the G's in lasagna.
and they and they really controlled everything up until Ozzy kind of unintentionally blew it up, and then Rizzo intentionally blew it up.
Yeah. They blew up the Pentagon.
Oh, can I say that?
Oh, can I say that? I mean,
Shout out
Tikor
Tikor.
and
Yeah.
Tikor and Chemo. Yeah. Okay. What's our next category?
What about worst alliance? We might as well do the double back. Which one of the two others?
I'm not gonna say the Nerds. I'm gonna say Honesty and Integrity.
Yeah. Our other
Sorry.
honorable mention that we said beforehand, we can give an honorable mention to Black Widow Brigade 2 of Suri, Rizzo, D, and Camilla. I think
Lasted how many votes? One.
one vote. I think this alliance could have been incredible if they had voted out Jonathan instead of Charlie. If that happened, the season is so different.
Infinitely better.
Yeah, infinitely better. I think that's a much higher chance of Suri winning and D getting
Uh,
far.
well, but then you run the risk of like, does the Nerd Alliance kind of like after they pick off a couple of the honesty and integrity people, kind of flip to that side to get rid
That's
of
true.
Suri and,
I mean,
D and Camilla?
that was already
They would totally do
I think
that.
no matter what, there was going to be a like three different factions, but I think no matter what, Suri's faction is also just not going to be discovered entirely.
Hmm.
I think they'll know that like they voted together, but it won't be like we know you're all like in an alliance together. It'll be a similar thing to Sir Wizard of Oz.
And
Um,
that's why The Wizard of Oz worked so good, is because it was like, yes, Suri and Ozzy play together. They played together. But Rizzo was so out of left field, you wouldn't associate the three of them together.
yeah, it could have been a similar outcome realistically, but we wouldn't have Jonathan, and that's a win for everyone.
Yay! But yeah, so I would say the worst alliance was either the honesty and integrity or the shortly lived David versus Goliath
Yeah.
trio.
Um, so next up, I mean, let's talk about our strategic mastermind. I think there's three in mind that I was thinking of when we were talking about this. Um, Obviously you gotta our nominees gotta be like Suri. You gotta mention
Suri,
Rizzo.
Rizzo,
And I think Christian is probably the
Christian.
third.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Christian for like the first half of the game, he
Yeah.
had a stranglehold on the strategy of the game.
I think the
Was he
three of
making great decisions every time? No, so that's why I'd have to take him out of contention. Like
yeah.
getting out Angelina and Mike White, I don't know what you're doing. You're losing
I
me a little.
I think in the long run it was better for him just because I don't think they would have worked with him compared to at least Rick and Emily who would have. But at the same time, we can't fact check that, and I I don't know.
Do you need a Stephanie? Do you need an
No,
Aussie?
I think
No.
Stephanie was the obvious to go for. Um, but if he had to go for one alliance or the other, it had to be. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean his
Either
work
way,
on OG Sela was good, but
yeah,
the other Sela member I think was the better strategist. Let's just say
yes.
that.
So, of our two more obvious finalists, our winner, who you would say is,
I'd say Sari.
it's got to be Sari Fields. She had
She
a
knew where everything was. If
Mhm.
a knowledge's power plopped into her lap, she could go beanie meenie miny mo.
And
Give it.
if it plopped into anyone else's laps, it would still end up in her lap. Like,
It was
it,
somehow.
somehow, I cannot believe that Suri. Like, I think, unironically, this was Suri's best strategic game. She absolutely, like, it was kind of perfect up until stuff that kind of was out of her control because every move that she made was exactly the right move she needed to make, and everyone would like work with her even though they were like, Suri's a threat, why are we working with her? And they're still doing it, not even questioning like that she's still here.
Mm.
And I don't know, like the only reason that I think her game really fell apart was because of the power broker twist. And the fact that she was split up from Ozzy, where Ozzy ended up panicking and spilling his whole game to Aubrey. If that doesn't happen, I think there's still a good chance she goes like 6th or 5th, but it's much more unlikely because Ozzy's going to take her to the end. Rizzo's more likely to take both of them a little bit further. She's going to have
Tiffany will
Tiffany.
want to work with Ozzy
It's,
because he doesn't have an idol anymore.
yeah, I think all four of them would do a lot better, and I think the final three that we had would have been, I don't think any of them would have been in the final three. Maybe actually Joe would be there, but the like
Yeah.
Jonathan and Aubrey would not be in the final three if Ozzy hadn't ruined his own game.
Yeah. So that's why I would say Cerise's number one. Rizzo very close second, but
Yeah, he
gotta
did
go with Cerise for me.
great. He just made some more questionable moves, and I think it was harder to justify some of the stuff he did, even if it worked out in his favor most of the time.
Yeah.
So let's go to a more objective award here, the Comp Beast Award, where
Beast.
there were a few people who won a lot of challenges.
Morgan Pope.
Whoa. Bring her back for
Where's Vince? No.
28, is it, next season?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the next season's 28, and she will be there. But
Yeah.
no, I think it's obviously it's got to be between Tiff and Joe because
Yeah.
they won the most challenges. But I'm inclined to say Tiff
Mm-hmm.
because listen here, Sela lost more reward challenges than Kahlo,
That
or
is,
team tribe
yeah.
challenges.
And Tiffany never lost a team challenge. She might
Did
have got.
she?
I don't think so. I
Because
will.
she never went to tribal until the blood moon.
Where's Tiffany? Tiffany, yeah, her first tribal was at the Camilla tribal. She
So
never
she
lost.
was immune for all of the pre-merge,
Mm-hmm.
and she won the same amount of challenges as Jonathan, whereas Jonathan
You mean
won
Joe?
those immunity challenges, but not the tribe challenges.
Yeah.
So
Um, I think you meant Joe, but yes, that
did
makes.
I say Joe or
You said
Jonathan?
Jonathan.
Ugh,
They're the same person, but at least
yeah,
Joe seems like a decent person outside of the game.
yeah, Joe's a good guy.
So yeah, I think it's in my mind very clearly Tiffany's the winner here.
Mm.
And if she had lifted her foot up, she would have won 4 instead of 3.
Four.
If she hadn't lost, she would have won. If production didn't interfere, they should have let her just cheat.
I think actually somebody made her have a magnet in her foot, and then
Mm-hmm.
she was standing on metal, so it actually she couldn't lift her foot.
Mm-hmm.
So that was actually not her fault. But no, imagine that the winner circle would have been Tiffany, not Savannah, not Eva. Who's the next one? Rachel. Did Maria make it?
What are you? What? I don't know what you're
Of the
talking about.
women who won 4 immunities.
Oh, I think did Eva not won 4?
Rachel.
I thought she won 4. Maybe she won
No,
3. Yeah.
she won 3, I think.
So yeah, then
Nobody on that season won more than 3.
I think Rachel, I think, won 4. Savannah? No, she was
Not
shy. She was
Savannah.
just shy
Because
1.
Sophie won the
So
last
Sophie
one.
won the final one, and then she won fire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, yeah, I think it might just be Rachel and no, Maria won 3. I think the only record tires. No, I don't think anyone has tied a record for challenge wins in the new era yet. Because all the
Let's
men, the
see.
maximum the men have won is 4, I think, and the maximum for the women is 3.
Okay. Was it Kim won 4?
Mm-hmm.
Chrissy won 4. Rachel won 4. Jenna and Kelly won 4.
Okay.
Is there any other women? And yeah, Maria won 3.
I
And
think.
D won
Oh,
2 on her
Savannah did
original
win
season.
4.
Savannah won 4?
Uh, individual immunity challenge win. She won 4.
Is this true? Oh, she did.
Yeah.
She did win final immunity. She could have won 5. That's what it
That's what it
was.
was, yeah. So she's the only
Okay, so
person that
yeah.
has currently tied a record because all of the men, the maximum they've won is 4 with Kyle, Joe, and I think that's it. But then Rachel and Savannah both won 4, so they tied the women's record.
For a single season, yes.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, that would have been Tiffany would have been right at home with those women, all fierce
Yeah.
competitors.
Um,
Um,
but yeah, great competitor this season. Sad we didn't get to see that on 46 because we could have seen a very different outcome if she had won more immunities. But
yeah,
you
she,
had like a Hunter there. You had
Charlie,
Maria,
Maria,
Charlie. Yeah.
Kenzie won a couple as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it was
All
hard.
right. So then moving on to our Social Butterfly Award. I think this is a very difficult one. Cause like I think again, Suri is a immediate nominee.
She's always a good social player.
Yeah, she's a great social player. Everyone immediately like cling towards her as like a like we need to, or like I trust you implicitly, like, and I don't know why. Like Stephanie did that, but then she had other people who were like immediately against her, which I think is a bit of a knock. Like Jenna, Savannah, Dee was very hesitant to work with her and wanted to get her out.
But the thing
Later
is,
on,
all those people either got eliminated in the first 2 episodes or she
mhm.
swung them over to her side.
Yes,
So
it just in terms of social game, though, like if we're not talking specifically about how it affected the game, more so how like much you could like you had that power, I guess. I think there is a little bit of knock against her. I think Rizzo has the complete opposite, though, where people were afraid of her, afraid of him at first. Congrats on your transition.
Here's the E. But no, yeah, I would say people were scared at first because he was an unknown. He was the Russell of the season.
And he was like very
But
overtly like over the top character, Riz God. But he always
once we
won
got
them
past
over.
a certain point, everybody wanted him to be their number.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
He always
So-
won everyone over. I don't think there's anyone where they were actively like by the end, like I don't
Against
like Rizzo.
Rizzo.
Aside from like Tiffany, but that seemed only because he
Against
had
his
the
idol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So I'd be inclined to give it to Rizzo, Suri, or Tiff. One of those three,
Yeah.
because Tiff, like Aubrey
is
was
another
saying, was a
yeah.
big jury threat in terms of social game.
Yes, Tiffany had a very great social game, and of the stuff that we like, the very few things we saw of her early on, it was almost always about how she had a good social game, about how people loved her. We just didn't get to see much of how it affected the game until later in the season. But I do think I would be inclined to give it to Rizzo.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. That's his strong suit because he can't win challenges, so he's got to
Mhm.
rely on that social strategy, and he did well.
Yeah.
So I'll give it to Rizzo.
What about best confessionals?
Tiff.
It's gotta be
period.
Tiff.
This doesn't need a discussion. It's
No.
Tiff. Honorable mention to the first 2 episodes of Charlie dunking on Rizzo,
Mhm.
but after the third episode in a row of doing it, it kind of got boring.
Yeah, I think
Got played out.
I would also honorable mention to like Rick Devens was fun.
Yeah,
Cerie's always
his
great.
newscast ones are always fun.
But I think it's very obviously Tiff. When we got to see her, she shined.
She shine. Maybe that's what it was. Like the rarity of it is like this is a gem.
Right.
Like
That
this is a gem.
gem alert.
Gem alert.
Yeah. What about what do we think about the robbed gods and goddesses? If you want to pick one juror, one pre-juror, what do you think?
Pre-juror, you gotta go Genevieve.
Yeah. She was
and
so
then-
unbelievably robbed by Twists not letting her have both her idols, not
Like-
putting her onto a swap screwed tribe and then another swap screwed tribe.
Like always with Aubrey.
Yeah, when Aubrey had an idol too, like it's
just no competition for that. And
Yeah.
then
jury wise.
juror, that's hard because the twists on like all the jurors that got screwed by a twist were like not crazy robbed, but like I would say Emily, honestly.
Yeah, I think a lot of these jurors definitely did get robbed by Twists, but it wasn't something that wasn't going to happen sooner anyway. Like Stephanie got voted out mainly because Rick was safe, but she was going to get voted out very soon anyway. I think
It just expedited the eliminations by 1 round.
yeah,
most
I
of
think
them.
Ozzy did it to himself based on the Power Broker. Coach and Chrissy definitely were going to get out soon, even if the duo's twist didn't happen. One of them was going to go home that episode no matter what. You know, I think that's basically it. Christian is the biggest one where everyone says Christian was robbed by the Jimmy Fallon twist, and I think we mutually agree it sped up the
I
process,
disagree
but
with that,
he was going to go home that episode.
He was going home that round. I think really the 2 options are Emily or maybe Ozzy. Maybe Ozzy, I could see an argument for Ozzy.
They were the same
'Cause he
episode
didn't
though,
have-
and I would say Emily was more screwed over by the tribe divisions and also based on the
She had
fact
less wiggle room for
right,
sure.
and she did exactly what she needed to survive. It's just it didn't work out because of Cerie's extra vote.
Ozzy had all the chance in the world to play that idol. It's just Rizzo didn't tell him, and that's on him. That like he
Yeah.
did what he sealed his fate. So he's not a screw. So yeah, I would say Emily for a juror.
All right, and then on a similar vein, a heartbroken elimination. I think this has to go
Kyle.
to Kyle.
So sad to see him go so soon. Like
So soon. I can't
so much
say he's
potential for the
robbed
game.
because like an injury isn't something that's affected based in the game or anything like
Yeah.
that. But it's really unfortunate because he was so strong, but like he had to be medevaced because like he had a fully torn Achilles, like he couldn't
He's still
walk.
sporting that cane.
Yeah.
Till this day, I think.
I don't think anymore because he's planning. I saw a video like he was planning on running a 5K, or like
Oh, maybe it wasn't
no,
a
it's a
recent
half
video, but
marathon.
he had a cane for a while, and I was
Hmm.
like, damn, this is gonna do like serious damage.
Yeah. But he seems to be back to full health, which is wonderful for him. Or mostly full health.
Mostly,
Um,
just had a
now,
baby recently.
yeah. Congrats to him. Congrats to Kenzie.
Congrats
Also
to
had a
him and
baby.
Maggie. I was
Lots of
like gonna make
babies.
a joke. I was gonna make a joke because the last name to be revealed for the 51 cast was Maggie, and I was like, damn, she's going back to like 10 days after giving birth. Like, wow.
Yeah. Um, but we have a few more to go through. I think the next one, most improved. Um, there's maybe like one or two other people that I could see giving it to, but unfortunately, I think Jonathan is really the only person who really shined compared to his last
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, it,
I
it it's got to go to Jonathan. I would say there's an argument for Tiff, but I think
Yeah.
Tiff was the same Tiff we saw in 46. Just she had more time to shine.
You know what it is? I think Tiff played a very similar game to Rachel this season. Like, and it's as if Rachel didn't have her idol or didn't win those last few challenges. Um, but it was a very similar, like, we didn't see much of her preseason to warrant why she's getting targeted, but then she started getting targeted late into the merge, and no one else, like, she was just the target de facto, like, whatever.
Hmm.
Um, and like you said, I think she played very similarly to how she would have if she went further on 46. Whereas Jonathan was basically strategically inept and socially inept on 42, and you bring him back, and he actually does quite well controlling a lot of the votes. He's just his social game still kind of flopped at the most integral points.
Yeah, and he had no jury management
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Um, what about most
I got you
bitter?
mad, D, and then now you're mad on the jury. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. What about most bitter? I think there's a lot of people we could give this to.
Bitter. Bitter. I would obviously Jonathan. Like I said, he's already doing his like
Mm-hmm.
January 6th, like stop the vote, recount. Like this is a bitter jury. Like I deserve to win.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Ozzy was kind of bitter on his elimination, but then he, like I said, he got chill. He mellowed out once he hit Final Trouble Council.
And he seemed like a good sport
Um,
based on like once we got back
yeah,
to
totally.
LA final live vote or whatever. I think some like honorable mentions. I would say like uh Charlie, Charlie and
Yeah,
Rizzo.
Charlie was so bitter that his bitterness from 46 transferred over to 50.
Yeah, that was bitter to the core, not bitter because of anything on 50.
He was just like
He's
he carried that. The body
right.
keeps the score, as Aubrey mentioned.
Exactly. And then other few that are more like just fun mentions, but not really up there. I would say Jenna was
Yeah,
like very funny bitter. And then
especially on social media.
yeah, and then ironically Russell Hantz I would mention when Jonathan was saying like, "How did I not win? I deserve it so much more than Aubrey. I played a better game than Aubrey." And Russell responding like, "At least you were beat by someone who played the game. Like it's been 20 years, dude. Or 15,
Like
10 years, something like
50,
that."
what was Samoa? Samoa was like almost 20,
It was
so 50,
19.
30, 15-ish years. Yeah.
It's been 15 years,
Like,
dude.
get
Move on.
over it. Like, you got, I don't know, $300,000 from Survivor. That should be enough. Like,
Yeah. But I
um,
think we have to give it to Jonathan for his postseason interviews.
yeah. Are we
It's
surprised that this is happening?
no,
No. I'm not surprised.
not at all.
Can't expect class from him.
Nope. uh, so what about the best and worst moves this season? I think there are some obvious ones,
Best?
but are there some honorable mentions you can think of?
Like, honorable for worst move would be maybe getting out, like we said, Charlie instead of Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
Honorable mention. I was mad last week at Rizzo voting out Suri, but like there was some upside to it. I think he had an okay path. Like in this finale, he just
Mm-hmm.
everything worked against him. Um,
Ozzy spilling his whole
and
game is I think
that's the worst move, I think.
I think that has to be the worst move. But the whole like the decision to vote out Jonathan to vote out Charlie instead of Jonathan is, I think, the biggest honorable mention.
Yeah.
Best move wise,
I think Sari flipping the vote back to Coach and Chrissy was very masterful. I think the fact that it was going to be, what was it, Aubrey and Devins at one point?
Mhm.
I mean, I guess in the straightforward view of, oh, well, you just saved the person who ended up winning the game. But I don't think of it in that way. I just think of like what was the right thing for them to do, and I think getting rid of Coach and Chrissy was right to do there.
And there's no reason, there's no like possibility that keeping Coach and Chrissy would be better for Sari than Aubrey. Like, you have so many more paths with Aubrey and Devins than you do them.
At that point in the game, Aubrey would have probably wanted to work with Sari for a little bit, I think. I think Sari and Aubrey had a good relationship coming from Game Changer, so I think they would have wanted to work for a little bit up until a point. So, yeah, but with Coach and Chrissy, no.
I think that's got to be the best move. It was so masterful watching Sari just so, like, effortlessly convince everyone who was so dead set on their individual plans otherwise. But some honorable mentions. Bringing it back to Ozzy, I would say Aubrey, like flipping the vote onto Ozzy was a pretty great move. Maybe like, I don't know, like, There wasn't too any like outwardly
There's not like
great
many
moves.
big moves this season.
Yeah.
Because of the twist. Because the twists
were kind of
took
impeding
everything.
them.
Like,
Oh.
there was not enough time to breathe for strategy.
I will say, if there weren't any twists, I might have given the best move to like Rick at the Stephanie boot, because if there was no twist, I still think that Stephanie was going to go home based on Rick's.
I think that too.
Like whole blowing up the tribe and getting Stephanie, pushing her into a corner. He did an incredible job of just narrowing her path, closing the gap, and convincing other people to do it. And then obviously it was set in stone once Mr. Beast came out and was like, let's flip a coin.
That's how much I agree with that. Is I think Stephanie should have went and flipped that coin herself. Like, I think she
so.
was the goner, and I think her game would have vastly improved had she flipped that coin.
Yes.
Devins,
I think
Loki, it harms him. The only thing is it keeps him in the game one more round. Him with an immunity idol, his target is like going like that. Stephanie with an immunity idol, we'll get her out eventually. Like, whatever.
I think based on the next episode, though, having that idol, at least it gave him and Emily a chance. But I don't think it definitely painted a new target. I think he was kind of doomed regardless, but it definitely was a very strong move to like flip it and really open the game to like kind of eliminate a lot of the alliances. And that's where you see like the Jonathan, Joe, Rizzo final three start to form. You see like Tiffany and Sari start to work together as a close duo. Like, it really blew up the entire tribal to recreate, like remap out the dynamics, and it was very interesting. I just think it would have been better for him. Like, he would have done a lot better if Mr. Beast wasn't there, because it would have changed things.
Yeah.
But I still think Sari flipping against Coach and Chrissy is probably the better move, just because the other, like, Rick's is a what if, whereas Sari actually did it. But yeah, I think some other like smaller but fun awards. Best episode title. The episode titles kind of sucked this season.
There was nothing. It's because all of them were named by men. The ones that are the best episode titles, other than Banana Etiquette, are named by women. Like, the only episode titles I can think of. That's a lie. I can't really think of any. I can think of The Scales Be Tipping. That's like the only one I think of when I think of episode titles from contestants, and that was Genevieve.
I mean, like you just said, Banana Etiquette. I mean, and then what was it? Like
Operation Italy.
Operation Italy. That's what I was thinking of.
That was kind of a group effort. Maybe I'm Just the Canadian. Like, is that
that's a
episode
fun
title?
Yeah, it is.
Caleb.
Shout out Caleb. There's definitely like a few. There's like, I'm blanking now, so that's not a good sign for it. But I was thinking of the Coach Exile episode of Tocantins.
The Martyr Approach.
The
And
Martyr
that wasn't
Approach.
even him. That was Aaron who said that.
Exactly.
So, see, that's an iconic one.
But there weren't any like incredible titles this season, but I think the best one was Therapy Carousel because the whole Joe-tation, babysitting Joe of the season was such a funny side plot going on. And Therapy Carousel is like such
The
an incredible
perfect term.
it's incredible. Like that should become one of the like default Survivor terms of like when you have to babysit someone, you're putting on a therapy carousel, like backdoor,
Exactly.
blindside,
You're
that
rocking
kind
them
of.
in a hammock like a cradle, and you're just doing the therapy carousel.
It's such a good title. I wish people thought of it more, but the only ones that like really I remembered before looking into this was Reverse the Curse, because it was so
And
obvious that
Inconceivable.
it was so obvious that Aubrey was gonna win this episode, and Inconceivable was just a very funny challenge moment.
Yeah.
And then what do you think about the best moment of the season?
Honestly, the marooning. I'm doing a last minute change, but the marooning was honestly, it was kind of iconic. Like
No,
we didn't know.
I
It's like I
agree.
mean, they didn't know they were gonna play in like their face that bad, but really, it was like I had hope. I had a hope at one point. I was like, whoa,
And
this is crazy. This is my first like live returnee season, and all these legends are here, and it's like, wow. I was gagging.
It was so good. And I think the first few episodes, like, honestly, I think the first half of the season was one of the best seasons we've ever seen. They just were not great at continuing storylines for the players who were actually, like, had longevity, which made the end game not as good. Whereas, like, the early game was incredible to watch. But I think that's a good answer. The other one that we had mentioned, like we had talked about, Rizzo and Charlie, their feud.
That was a great moment.
Heated survivalry. They made that TikTok after
The TikTok recently,
I think it's hilarious, but I wouldn't say it's the best like individual moment.
because then Charlie dragged it a little bit, and it was
Yeah.
like, okay, he's forcing this like rivalry,
And
but
I think we mentioned it a moment ago. I would also give props to the Rick Devens blowing up Tribal. That was, for that brief
that was
moment,
good. That was one of my favorite tribals.
it was one of my favorite tribals ever up until Mr. Beast got there. And I think
Yeah.
I would give it to that because it was like I've never felt like that captivated by something that happened at Tribal.
I was transported back to Edge of Extinction, and I always say I started watching Survivor in like season 46, but technically the first episodes I ever watched live were Edge of Extinction. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? I just remember it was like Edge of Extinction. It might have even been the Julie is flipping. I'm jumping ship. I don't have comma control. Like that was amazing to me. I was like, this is modern day theater, like going on right in front of me.
That is a very
And,
bad season to start with.
Yeah,
It seems
I
like
was
the
just,
least,
and I was rooting
like-
for. I was rooting for the wrong people. I was rooting for Aurora. Like I did not know what Edgic was. Like I was rooting for Aurora, and I
Yeah.
was just like lost all hope. But no, it was very reminiscent of Edge of Extinction. Rick, like why we came to love him. He was just like laying it all out there, and it was a really good tribal.
Yeah. Last few here. Our next one is most iconic, which was when I used to host orgs back in the day. I would do these kinds of awards, and I had the most iconic award as someone who didn't get first place for any of these awards, didn't win anything, but was like did well in every other category, where I'm like, they deserve to win something. It's kind of unfair that they would get so close and not get anything.
Like most well-rounded, Miss Congeniality.
Right, exactly.
I'm gonna give it to Mr. Joe Hunter.
I think Joe, like, he's one of the only people we haven't given anything to, and Joe, even if obviously his gameplay didn't hold up, he was kind of frustrating for the players to play with. Ultimately, Joe was just such a funny presence on the season. And I
What
love
makes
Joe.
him frustrating for the people playing around him makes him entertaining to me.
Yeah. And it's so much better that like he didn't have an Eva type figure this season,
Yes.
because they didn't have to prop him up on a pedestal as like the guy that everyone should respect when the players don't respect him. And yeah, and Joe's postseason stuff I think is very entertaining. Him blocking Tiffany and Savannah and Jenna. And then like
He's like Russell if Russell didn't know how to play the game.
exactly. And I also think it's funny that like his wife, when they showed up at the final three, knew more about what Joe needed to say at the final tribal than he did. And so he kind of like he started saying like he started owning up to like his devious side, which I would have never expected because he didn't
I
learn
was
anything from
surprised
48.
that he definitely improved on his final tribal count, even though he
Mhm.
got one less vote. I think he definitely did better than he did on 48 in that
Yeah.
aspect.
I think it showed promise for if he came back for a third season, I wouldn't mind as much as I did him being on 50. Because as 50 went on, I kind of was higher and higher on Joe.
Yeah.
Maybe not
Like,
as like a player, but as a character.
you don't get to the final three twice in a row with it being a fluke. Like
Right, right.
you got to have something there,
Mm-hmm.
even if you're the GOAT.
Not the GOAT, but the GOAT.
You're not the GOAT, you're a GOAT, but you're the GOAT of GOATs.
Right. There's no other GOAT
he's a
that's
goated
been a
GOAT.
better GOAT
Yeah.
than Joe.
Yeah.
So our final two awards here. Who is your favorite player this season?
Favorite player all around, I would have to say Sari. How could you not say Sari?
Yeah. Sari was just too good. I kind of wanted to switch it up a little bit. We've given Sari all her flowers, and she deserves it all. You know, that just like that one
We
title.
can't help it. She can't help that she has queen energy. Is that not what she said one episode?
Mhm. It's really difficult not to give her everything. But I also think like if you're giving Sari the host favorite, I'm gonna give my host favorite to. It would be between like Rick, Rizzo, and Tiff, but I think I'm gonna give it to Rick. I think Rick was like he was purely playing for entertainment this season and brought some of the best moments, and I think he just was so fun to watch, especially because like people who didn't watch Edge of Extinction live, like watching it back, kind of hated on Rick, and you know they were kind of like dogging on him, saying he didn't deserve to be
Like
here.
he's all that's wrong with this season.
Right.
He came back from the twist and he was just using idols and whatever.
I think this just
so
like
fun.
people aren't saying that anymore. That kind of proved that kind of crowd wrong. He's just such a fun player, and even if like I didn't think he had any chance of winning, or like getting to the end, I should say. He brought so much entertainment that I will not take for granted.
It's kind of funny how both of these people that we say are favorites went out in the penultimate episode. I wonder why the steam was lost. I wonder.
Yeah. But yeah, I think our final award this season, we both agree there's literally no one else who could take player of the season other than Miss Sari Fields.
Three Fields, like she's the player of every season she's on except for Heroes versus Villains, and even then she's not like bottom player on that season either. Like it's just
she got idled out. Like how this is her first time ever being voted out normally, except
by a simple majority.
Right. She got voted out in Australia, right? Or I didn't watch the season. I just
no,
watched the
it was
updates.
Fire.
It was Fire.
She got out.
So
Fire.
she literally never got voted out normally until now. That's crazy.
So like, there's something to be said about that. Like, right?
And it happens on her best strategic season. Like she really did everything perfectly up until Aussie.
I would say this was better. Like out of all the seasons, I haven't seen her BB25. Like I would rank this first or second with my prediction. Like sorry,
Traders. Yeah, I was about to say
second with Traders.
I think Traders
third.
Traders has to be. Well, I don't know because.
Traders was just a masterclass. Like it was.
Traders was like she did it so perfectly.
She works better in Traders just because there's no physical challenges, right?
Yeah.
She gets to do even better.
And I don't know. Traders is like difficult for me because that's her best game, but I don't know if like maybe I'd bring it down a notch just because Traders is a much easier game to win than Survivor.
As a trader.
As a trader,
yeah.
There's really not much strategy to the Traders, and especially on its first ever season, like these people didn't know how to play. But but at the same time, it's like you are playing against Cody Calafiore or whatever. You're playing against
Right.
so you're playing against Stephanie,
Rachel.
Rachel. Was Janelle? No, Janelle was season 2.
Janelle was season 2. She
Yeah.
was fighting with Sandra. But no,
Hmm.
but there's super fans. There was somebody
Right.
who was immediately like, I know who Suri is. Like, I know how dangerous she is, but I want to work with her. Like, the mist is before she even meets you, you want to work with her.
Right. I
So
think
I don't know. It's
it's hard
between
to say.
that and this season.
Yeah, I think I would go either one of those two. They're the top two, and then maybe like
Very
Micronesia.
closely Micronesia.
Yeah, and then maybe I think I would go Australia, then Game Changers, then Heroes of the
I would go.
Villains.
No, you're forgetting Panama. Panama's
Oh,
above a
right. I
lot of
forgot about
those.
Panama. How did I? Whoa. Yeah, Panama's
Panama would
probably
probably be fourth.
above. Yeah, I think it's above Australia. I don't. Again, I didn't watch Australia, so I didn't know for sure. And I know Parvati basically dominated the entire thing, but I know Suri
The
did quite
one
well. So I don't
critiques that
know
people
compared
have
to
with
Game
Suri is
Changers.
that she was kind of playing to have Parv win again.
Right.
Like she could have been more. There was many times where she could have fucked up Parvati's game with the other people from the world.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds crazy. Other people of the world, the other world tribe members, but
Uh-huh.
she was like, "No, I gotta stay loyal to Parv," and she's the reason why Parv won. Like
Yeah.
if Parv didn't have Suri, Parv wasn't gonna win. Same thing. Like Parv really helped Suri's game, but
I
Suri
think
could have taken out Parv.
it's a difficult comparison because like on Game Changers, she did play very well, but I don't think if she had gotten to the end, she's winning because she played the best game, unless she's up against like Troy, Zan, and Brad.
Yeah,
I think she'd win
I
because of
think
legacy
Sarah could have
there.
had a case to beat her in the end.
I think so. I think Sarah played probably a better
Better.
game. But Suri, I think, could beat her just out of legacy because it's Suri.
Yeah, like how Aubrey had with this season. Like
Hmm.
her story was that you been
Yeah.
playing this so long, and yeah. But yeah, I just think if this is Suri's last season, she's left an amazing legacy. I mean,
Hmm.
maybe her last season as Survivor, maybe not her last season of reality TV, but she doesn't need to do anything else. She doesn't need to prove herself. She didn't need to prove herself even after Game Changers. Like we know she's a great player, but just this Suri renaissance has been beautiful to
Yeah.
watch.
At the very least, I think if they do a Traders All Stars, they'll bring her back.
Yeah,
If she wants to play,
for
she's
sure. I think she would definitely
guaranteed.
do that.
And I don't know, because like with Traders All Stars, people really didn't start watching until season 2 for the US version, and then it
Mhm.
got really popular in season 3. So
Yes.
I could see them like not having many people from season 1, maybe not too many from season 2, but season 1 you can't like you have to represent at least
You have to
one
bring back
person.
Suri, your first Soul
Suri,
Trader winner.
yeah, maybe they'd bring back like Rachel or what were the two
I'd love
finalist
it if they brought
names?
back the losers at the end, like
Yeah.
Andy and Quentin. That would be funny. But they might do just celebrities, so they'll take and like gamers, so like they'll take Suri,
I
they'll take
think
maybe
I think
Rachel,
they'd be if there's a standout
Kate.
civilian from season 1. Wasn't Kate? Wait, wasn't Kate from
Kate
Below
was a,
Deck?
a celebrity, but
Yeah.
um,
Oh, right. You're saying she was on
civilian.
season 1. I see.
Yeah, season one. I think civilians though there wasn't many that stood out.
I
Like
think
Quentin and Andy, I
Quentin.
think, are the
Yeah.
two that were the big ones.
Um, but yeah, I think this was Cerie's best one, at least her best survivor. Oh, we didn't even add Big Brother to the list. Big Brother, I probably put around Game Changers.
Towards the bottom, like yes, she made it to the end, but she's always
Mhm.
going to do that. And I mean, the game of Big Brother, I don't know if is her strong suit as much
No.
as Survivor and the Traders, but she still did perfectly fine.
She just literally
Um,
couldn't win because of inequitable comps, but she wouldn't have won the equitable comps anyway.
and her dumbass son. That
And her
was
dumbass
another thing.
son. But like even
It
after
was, she
that,
had to work. She had to literally carry him and do her own game. Like
she at least did a great job of keeping herself integrated with Matt, who, you know. But either way, yeah, I think that's about
that's a
it.
video for another day.
That's a
But
video, yeah.
let's move on to other reality TV news. We got some great news after the season 50 finale.
Mhm.
That or not after the season, but after last week's episode, the penultimate episode. And it had to do with something we covered last season, Traders Canada. We
Yeah.
got the rumored new cast members.
Mhm.
And who's sticking out? I mean, we'll mostly just talk about like the RTV people, but like
Yeah.
it was It was interesting. There was some flops, but also some like, oh my gosh, we needed them.
Yeah, I think
Like,
there
okay,
was
I'll
some.
I'll
Yeah, if you want
start,
to
I
send the
guess.
photo of it, because I can't pull it up right now.
I'll send the
Um,
link to the Twitter thread if it was
okay,
reality TV fan, our favorite.
yeah. Um, there are some big names. I think more from Big Brother Canada rather than
Yeah,
Survivor. Um,
the one survivor name is you're never gonna believe it.
I mean, I guess I can kind of believe it.
I can believe it because he's literally the only person left.
Yeah. So
But
let's just go through as the list describes on reality TV's Twitter thread. They brought back Ty from last season. You know, I think this
Ty
makes sense. He was kind of screwed over by Venus being
is
chosen over
getting the
him,
Dorinda Kate thing where he's
and
getting brought back. I
yeah,
get it. Like,
thank
yeah,
God Venus was chosen over him. But I'm glad they're giving him a second chance. Um,
yes.
the biggest name I think here is the next one, Spicy V from Big
Spicy.
Brother. Oh,
Oh my god! I was praying, but like I knew it was gonna happen because she's like one of the biggest names from like Big Brother
mm-hmm.
Canada. Like whenever people say like, "Oh, I miss Big Brother Canada," like 9 times out of 10 they're gonna post that clip of Spicy V fighting with Anthony on
Yeah.
BB12 when she like breaks the glass. Like
It
she is everything. Is she a great player? No. Is she a great strategist? Maybe not. Is she my mother? Is she the most entertaining
she
BB
was
Cam
I hey,
player aside from Ika Wong?
I will credit her
Yes.
though. I think she was pretty good on season 12. She there were points where she showed like pretty good strategic game.
She controlled it. She
Yeah,
controlled it that season, but that's because she had like a hive mind.
right. And I think this like season 12 is crazy that they ended Big Brother Canada on that one because that's one of the best Big Brother seasons like of both US and Canada. It's crazy
It went
that
out with
that's
a
the one.
bang.
It went out with a bang. At least it didn't end on like season 8 during COVID or something like that. Like
Yeah. Or like season 11. I didn't
mhm.
watch season 11, but I've heard only bad things.
Yeah. Um and then we have two drag queens here. I am not a
I
Canada's
know
race watcher, but
I don't really watch Canada's Drag Race or US for that matter, but I know Van Gogh won the most recent season.
okay. I think it's very funny that the other drag queen's name is Isis.
Isis Couture.
Yeah.
Um, I think Couture is like the drag family name, and
Hmm.
I've been on the same show as Michaela Couture. Michaela
Oh.
Couture was on season 2 of Battle of the Generations, and I was expecting Michaela Couture to be on because she was on All Stars, I believe,
Hmm.
of Drag Race. But if you're part of the Couture family, I guess I fuck with you because I mean I didn't play against Michaela, but she
Right.
was a fellow Gen Z, so I'm gonna root for Isis and Van Gogh. I mean, if they won Traders and or if they won Drag Race and they're on here, then hey, I mean, drag queens have a horrible history on Traders. Hopefully, these two can remedy
Hey,
that. Like,
I mean, last season we had a drag race winner. I mean, they more a coach
okay,
than a
okay,
but
that's
like
true.
they still do drag. Jade is
I'm talking about
Hollywood
I'm talking about people who come into the premiere with their
wearing
drag on, and then
drag,
the rest
yeah.
of the episodes they're out of
Jade
drag.
is more of
Hollywood
a
is a judge. I think of
yeah.
Hollywood as a judge, not a contestant.
Even though he does do drag, Hollywood
He
is
does do
more of
drag.
a
That's
judge.
true.
So
Actually, Hollywood broke the curse. If you think about it,
I
Hollywood broke the
Hollywood,
curse.
I think I would say is probably the best civilian or not civilian, faithful winner of like any season.
Best faithful winner, top 3 winner.
Yeah, for sure. It was an incredible win, especially with Dom. Like the two of them were
Yeah.
great. Um,
I'm like forgetting how good Hollywood Jade. Oh my god, Hollywood Jade was amazing. Like,
I when you
ugh,
told me that like like some of the reception for that season wasn't like as high as we had it, like
like
who are we talking
Moranian review.
about?
I'm looking at you. He did his like year in review of like 2025
It
reality
was
TV, and he's like,
such a good
yeah, Traders
season.
Canada was mid, and then he also did his Traders season ranking. He's like, Traders Canada season 3 is towards the bottom. What? I think he had Traders Canada 1 over it. And I'm
That's
like, no shade
crazy.
to season 1, but they were still finding their footing. Like, Traders Canada season 3 was amazing. I don't know
It was
what you're
so
talking about.
good every episode. That was like the perfect show for us to talk about on our last season, especially after 48 of
Exactly.
Survivor. Like we needed a
Especially
refresher.
after 48. We needed a Traders Canada season 3.
Hmm.
Um, But yeah, we're gonna be the season 3 defenders, and I hope season 4, can live up to the hype that
Yeah.
the high bar that season 3 provided. But I don't know if that's gonna be due to our next contestant.
Yeah, our next contestant, Kane Fritzler from Survivor 44.
Who?
The only thing I remember of him was him waving the sword around.
Waving a sword, the
Yeah,
immunity
because
sword.
the immunity idols were a sword and shield, and he was just flailing it around, and then he got voted out the next
And
episode.
then he got name dropped on season 45 by Bruce.
Yeah, what a weird name drop. He was like, I know Kane. Like,
He didn't say, "Oh yeah, I met Carolyn and Jam Jam and Carson, the like big 3 people on that season. I remember Kane. He's Canadian like you, Kale." Like what?
yeah, but then it's like if he was playing with Q, like if Q was on that season, he'd be like, Bruce is a threat because he met Kane Fritzler from Survivor 44.
Right, he would be the Emily. Yeah, he would. He
Yeah.
would push back on that.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got from Love Island, the most recent season, Elan Bass. I don't know. I haven't heard good things about this guy.
Of the 2 photos that they have here, not liking the perm, but I think the like
The
slick
slick
back
is
at
a
least
little better.
it's a
He
little
does.
better.
He seems kind of douchey. I didn't know he was
Yeah,
Canadian though.
I didn't know that they allowed Canadians on Love Island US. It's weird.
I guess they do. They have some British people sometimes. They just get anybody.
That's true. They had Mora. Mora was on the US
yeah.
one, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
But she might have been Irish on the UK one.
Right. Okay, well, we have
Ronnie Stevenson.
Housewives of Vancouver. This could be our why am I already forgetting her name?
Cara?
Cara from last season.
You will never be Cara.
No.
You will never be
Cara
Cara. I
was
hope you get
iconic.
gagged at every round table
Right.
and don't get to talk. You will never.
I-
I'm kidding.
I
I mean,
truly-
me for no lady. I don't know this lady.
I truly did not expect Cara to be as fun as she was on Traders Canada 3, and I think we could see a similar thing because I feel like on the US versions they have too many housewives. So
Exactly.
when we have like just one, it makes it a lot more like fun to watch them. Especially because I don't think having all players that are like celebrities or in reality TV makes much sense in the format of Traders. Like this is why I think Canada is better, is because it's half notable
Half and
people, half and half. Season 1 of Traders US was still finding its footing, even though Suri was like shining point. But I think they just didn't, like, they ditched it immediately, even though it's a better format, because then you don't have to worry about too many, Big Brother players, too many Housewives, or too many Survivor players, or what have you. You can have like
And
one
your
or
big
two of
names
each.
don't always have to go out early. You could,
Exactly.
maybe some of the nobodies are cannon fodder, because usually the big gamers and everybody stick together for the first few rounds. And then those big names that you acquired don't have to go out first necessarily.
Yeah, you get a lot more entertainment with this, and you can see that very evidently with the Canadian version, which is the only one that does half and half now, right?
I mean, Australia and all of them, they like had like one celebrity or two celebrity or notable people, but like it's not like a
Yeah.
thing.
I think they just, it's not that they have less people to work with. They probably have more, arguably, because they still have their Big Brother going on. They have their own Survivor, but at the same time, it's like I think Canada has more in terms of like what the U.S. population is watching.
Yeah, what they know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because for example, I think Kirby's gonna be on the next Traders Australian season,
Yeah.
So that's a thing, but it's not like
But
Kirby and then David and then
Right.
George. It's not like a big all-star thing. It's just like one
Yeah.
here and there.
I think Canadian Traders is kind of perfect there, because like even though Big Brother's over, there's a lot to pick from, and if they do one at a time, they're not gonna really run out for a while, which is great to like think about. And same with same with Survivor, because they only have like one or two per season, so it works out.
Yeah. Then we've got Felix Dolce. Felix Dolce. I don't know if I should be saying that with a Quebecois accent. He's from Big Brother Célébrité Quebec, and he's also an Olympian.
Our
I don't know how he did on his season. I think he's from the most recent season. Yeah.
Do you wanna search it up? Just see what the.
I'm gonna search up Felix BB Célébrité. Let's see. Okay, he was. Oh no, he was on season 6. Okay. and he got third place.
Okay, so that's what Coco had, right?
I
Coco
think
was
Coco
third? Twice, I
got
think.
fourth twice. No, or third.
It
I
was
don't know.
same
I
placement
forget.
twice though. I remember that.
Yeah. Let's see on his season. Who was on his season? Anyone we've seen before? Mm,
I would assume
No. Was this the
not.
most recent season? Oh, this was the most recent season.
Oh, like how recent? Like this fall? Like this
Like
winter?
this March.
Oh, damn.
Or this January to this March they filmed it. It
Okay.
was
So he's
so
like
he's new, like
he went
new to
off of
this team.
the he ended his Olympian like career this winter and went straight to like
Oh
all the
yes.
the
He
celebrity
just loves
circuit.
to compete. He has that
Yes.
competition bug. Like he's like, okay, let me go from Olympics to Big Brother to traders.
Do we know what he did in the Olympics or like if he was on the like in the Olympics this year?
Let's see. Um, Felix. He was gymnastics.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So it's summer Olympics, not this year. But I probably the hype
Okay. So
of
he
the
had a little bit of
Olympics.
downtime.
Yeah, it was just
He
the
was
hype
at
of the
Australia,
Olympics.
not Paris.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. But that is the most recent one, right? Oh yeah, because the breakdancer from Australia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's literally how I remember it.
yeah.
And then our final leaked cast member, the most WTF of them all,
No, no, this is the most important. This is the biggest name we've gotten. It's Jeremy Bieber.
Justin Bieber's father, who's a deadbeat, I'm pretty sure. I mean, there's a picture of him with Justin right there, but I heard he's a deadbeat.
Probably. I mean, I no offense to Justin. I wouldn't be surprised.
No, that's not an offense to Justin, I don't think. Like, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, he doesn't look like a good guy from what I've
Mm-hmm.
seen.
He
Um,
seems like kind of a mix of like Donna Kelsey and Michael Rappaport for this season's archetype.
Yeah, like
Like,
all the worst
yeah,
of
yeah.
those people. Well, I mean, that's all of my core report. But yeah, he's like the Nepo pick who's probably
Mm-hmm.
gonna go out pretty soon. And yeah.
Yeah.
He could have been a casting spot we could have given to another BB Can player, honestly. Like I would have liked to see maybe one more maybe there is more BB Can players in there, because there were more, I feel like more gamers last season than what we see here.
Yeah.
Because there's only like 3 or 4 when last season there was like 5, 6. So maybe
Wait,
there's
was
one that
there?
just
There
hasn't been
was
leaked yet.
Wait, okay, there
There
was
was
Kevin.
Ty, Ulmer, Kevin, Venus, Coco.
Just do we count Coco? I guess yeah. So then we're
Yeah.
counting
And so for this
we're
one,
counting
it's Ty, Spicy, Kane, and then Quebec.
Quebec guy.
Unless they're counting the drag queens, then that's a different story.
I mean, they're never like classified as gamers, so I would assume not. Um
But like,
but
give me one more BB Can legend.
I
Like,
guess
give me.
I guess also last season Dom was considered a gamer cuz he was on the mole for like 10
Yeah,
minutes.
okay, so that makes sense. But just like give me Tashawn. I want to see
Mhm.
Tashawn because that would be fun to see both the ties. That would be
Yeah.
fun to see both the tie winners.
Mhm.
Um, and I think Tashawn would be good at the traders.
Right. Yeah. I could see it. I think given how he played on his season, I think it would make sense that he could do well. Um, but yeah, I mean, overall, this cast seems pretty
It's
decent.
okay.
I mean, we had, I think, similar ish. No, I had higher hopes last season because, I mean, having Venus, Kevin, and Omer all on the same season at the same time is like, that's
That's
big. That was
sickening.
big for me. That was huge. Now
Sickening.
it feels like we're going a very similar direction to US Trader season 4 where it was like
Yeah.
season 3 and season 2 had a lot of gamers. Season 4 had a lot of like even if they were gamers, they were big like personality players.
Yeah, or like also dating show people and
Yeah.
like this
It was a very
screams to
personality
me.
heavy season. And I think the same thing
This
here.
is the same thing they're doing for season 4, where it's like flashy.
Hmm.
Who's new? Who's new? Whose name is the biggest right now? Van Gogh just won.
Yeah.
The guy from Love Island was just on. The new Vancouver Housewives. The new Big Brother celebrity. Justin Bieber. I mean, Justin Bieber's always famous, so his dad. But like,
Right.
it just seems
But he
very
had
like
like
it's
he had a thing
yeah.
going on this year. Like it's been
Yeah, and he
bigger
had a whole.
for
He was
him.
Coachella. He had an album recently. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's gonna be. Hey, it's smart. That's what you got to do. It's like good marketing or whatever. But
Hmm.
I don't know. Yeah. we'll see. I'm always gonna be down for Traders Canada.
Yeah.
Always.
And we'll also have to wait and see who the like how the civilians end up doing. They're always a big what if, but I think as we get like as it's later and later into the trader's existence, the civilians are going to bring more and more.
Bring back Lizette and Meredith.
I agree. I think they need to become reality TV icons.
Yeah, we need them on honestly the challenge. Like
Yes, Lisette
get
on the
them on the
challenge
challenge.
is such like that. That is her where she would thrive, and I wouldn't watch it,
That's
but I mean, I'd see the clips of
inspired
her.
casting.
It feels like Traders was casting her so that they could get her on the Traders, or sorry, to get her on the challenge.
But also the traders are like, well, we want you on the traders, so yeah, let's cast you on the traders.
So we've got
Yeah,
a
so that's is there any other news? I mean, we got the Big Brother premiere date
yes,
is July 9th.
I believe so. Yeah, we don't know any information about Big Brother US 28 yet. However,
We just know we have an inkling that it could have returnees.
it could have returning players, which is interesting. I'm kind of hoping it's not going to be 16 players again, or like 17 the way we had 25 and 27, just one returnee, you know. I think it would be cool if it's like, you know, we have 18 or we have 15
I
or
heard
like
it's gonna
just
be 18.
18 could be fun. I just hope that they
Like 9 and 9, 9 returnees, 9 newbies could be fun.
I just hope they kind of lock in if they do that and don't do like a triple eviction and then
No
a
White
double.
Lotus.
Yeah.
Or Locust, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, who said that?
Did my mind behind me? Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there was also you had mentioned Destination X. I don't know much about it, but you said that they
Yeah, I didn't watch it. It's like in that Dondi sphere of like they're just making anything into a show, but like I'll keep up with who's getting cast.
Yeah.
Like I think Tiffany Mitchell, Dan Giesling, and Wendell are on it, and then Love Island people. One of them I actually recognize because he was big. Nick from the most recent season of Love Island, like of Nicolandria fame. He's on it. So I think people will watch that. Like I'll give it a try. Like it's a fun idea for a show. Like GeoGuessr IRL. Fun.
yeah.
Did I watch last season? No. But
But I do
give
like
it a try.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
sure. Sure, yeah. Whoever that is.
Are you kidding me?
I don't know who that is.
My heart. He was
Who is
Negan-
Jeffrey D. Morgan?
He was Negan on The Walking Dead. He was the dad.
Was he the
on
bad guy?
Yeah. He was the dad in Supernatural. He was Kessler in The Boys. He's done a lot of things that I've watched. and
Okay.
liked.
I don't know his name, but I know his game.
You'd recognize Negan.
I'd recognize
I
his
think,
face.
at
Okay.
least.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're tuning in for Destination X season 2.
Is that gonna be the next season of Reality Rangers?
Probably not.
No,
we
no.
actually are getting sponsored by them, and they're bringing us to every location after the episode.
Yeah.
And it's like Amazing Race style, but we just get transported in a little bus. Yeah, that'd be fun. But
We've been in talks with our agents. We are, we're really hunkering down. We might start talking about Big Brother 28. That's gonna be a big one for the summer, but it's probably not gonna be every episode. There's a lot that happens every week, so we might just do one recap a week. Stick to the same kind of Survivor style that we had.
maybe do like a little live thing.
A few
That'd be nice.
a few in person
Double eviction
podcasts.
watch party. That could
would
be fun.
Yeah. But for now, we are signing off. This has been a roller coaster of a season.
Yeah,
I had so much fun talking about it. At least this was very fun.
me too. Even like the studio was fun, but even like after we got out of the studio, it's still been fun. Like as it is sometimes fun to like hate rant like about an episode.
And
Hate ranting with you is always fun.
Exactly. I've enjoyed talking with you quite a lot, and even if the season as a whole hasn't been the best, I think every episode has had a lot of fun with it.
Fun bits.
Yeah.
To it.
So overall, I've had so much enjoyment out of this, and I'm glad to continue doing it. Hopefully, we'll be back for our next semester in the studio.
6 seasons in a movie.
6 seasons in a movie. our
We
movie is
could
going to
do
be our
6 seasons of a
practicum.
movie. Yeah, literally, it's because by the last semester it would be 6 seasons, and then the
Wait.
last semester would be a movie.
Yeah, so next would be 4, 5. Oh, yeah, it would be 6. Oh, it's kind of poetic.
It is poetic. So stay tuned for our Reality Rangers movie. It's going to be how we got cast on Survivor 54.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for listening and watching, and we'll see you hopefully soon. Bye.
Yes. Bye.